Добрый день, всем привет из штата Луизиана. Сегодня у нас пятница, 17 февраля, дождливая облачная погода. И мы находимся на плантации под названием Houmas. Опять же на берегу речки Миссиссиппи. Но эта плантация здесь крутая в том плане, что помимо изумительно красивого здания, также здесь очень красивые сады. Погода сегодня, конечно, не очень веселая. Пасмурно, идет легкий дождь. Я загрузил в машину велосипед. Надеялся, может, прокатиться по насыпи, противопаводковой насыпи с другой стороны реки, там где около, плантация. Там я обнаружил, проложили асфальт на некоторой дистанции, можно кататься классно на велосипеде. Но, судя по такому, по погоде, и прохладно, и мокро, наверное, кататься на велосипедах не будем. Каждые полчаса здесь экскурсия, поэтому мы сейчас чуть прогуляемся по саду, посмотрим, как что все выглядит, и потом пойдем на экскурсию в дом. И опять же, я не знаю, можно ли здесь снимать в доме или нельзя. Вау. Пока я сюда ехал, я специально вместо того, чтобы по скоростной трассе ехать, я поехал по второстепенным дорогам. И там видно было, едешь вдоль реки. О, класс, красиво. Заметно, что периодически такие огромные дубы стоят, а домов больше нет. То есть, видать, паводки, ураганы посносили остальные здания плантации, которые были, и они пришли просто в негодность и оказались снесены. Но здесь в свое время, как говорится, вдоль реки этот сахарный тростник был очень крутой бизнес. А сейчас только те, вот видите, самые такие крутые плантации остались в качестве музеев. На остальное медленно, уверенно исчезло с лица земли. Надо тут пару фотографий сделать. Ну вот это не дубы, вот это тоже магнолии, похоже. Там был вопрос, зрители задавали в предыдущем видео про около. Здесь, оказывается, есть местные разновидности южного Southern Lime Oak, называется южный живой дуб. И они выживают в такой жаре, и наоборот им нравится. И там было очень много желудей на земле, то есть даже были какие-то сомнения, что эти дубы не выглядят как дубы. Они самые настоящие дубовые деревья. Да, такое забавное зрелище. Белки. Похоже, она прячет на зиму желуди. Так вот, белки и рядом пальмы. Сейчас мы ждем, когда объявят экскурсию. Начало экскурсии каждые полчаса. Сейчас 1:30. Hello.
Yeah, it's gotten cooler. Calling everybody if you want to take a tour with me, because I'm going in the house. Tell me where you're from. Pittsburgh today. I lost my phone. Okay. I got my book there. 1 solid hour. So I do anywhere from 6 to 7 tours a day, which means I'm talking and walking for 6 and 7 hours a day. The pots that we have here are called sugarcane kettles. That's what we cook our sugarcane down in. We come to the kitchen. I'll show you the sugar mold that we pour the liquid sugar into. Let's go this way. Always looking around the corners for critters.
See? All the pictures on. She didn't even say no flash.
Right.
I bet she meant that.
Now we actually have 2 homes here, by the way. The red house, the yellow house. The red house was built in 1774 by 2 gentlemen named Latil and Conway. They purchased the land from the Houmas Indians. This is where we get the name from, Houmas House. They got 300,000 acres. And they gave the Indians $150 for the goods. Shame on them, right? 1811, General Wade Hampton came. He purchased the red house. He started working on the yellow house. It took from 1812 to 1840 for it to look like this, because it was built in different stages. The walls are thick. What's inside these walls is brick, just like we brick our own. Question people ask me all the time. Hurricane Katrina, what did it do? Nothing. You're now an hour outside from New Orleans, all right? These levees were built in 1930. Ones in New Orleans were built in mid and late 1800s, all right? They have salt water. We have fresh water. They're 8 feet below sea level. We're about 5 feet below sea level. If they have another hurricane, guess what? If it's even a category 1, the city will go underwater again. Because they didn't fix the levees. They only fixed the ones that were messed up. Not all of them. Louisiana loses one football field every single day of land. How many of you are going to Mardi Gras?
We just left New Orleans.
You had enough too, huh?
No, we had a good time. We were there for 3 days.
Anybody going to Mardi Gras this weekend?
Us locals
Parade.
don't go it's not a time to be down there. They do all that same stuff every other weekend of the year.
Yeah, exactly. Only thing different is if you want beads any other time of the year, you just go in the store and buy them, all right?
Oh, yeah,
They throw it to you.
Yeah, I had a whole bunch in Baton Rouge last Saturday. They had a little money.
Yes. I don't do Mardi Gras anymore. Now the first thing you look at on the walls is the murals. The wealthy had murals. We're not sure what theirs would look like, so we chose sugar cane. We were the largest sugar cane plantation at one time, and so our owner included his dogs, Princess Grace Kelly and King Sam Kelly, and you'll get to hear more about them as we go through the house. Now come on over here. Now this map I'm about to show you doesn't look like this anymore, all right? This is an 1847 map. There were 3 of them. 2 of them are in New Orleans in different museums, and this one was found in the house in 1987. They were putting air conditions on the 3rd floor, cut a hole in the floor, found the map. It'd been hidden under sawdust. The reason it was hidden, it's a census map. Had this got into the wrong hands during the Civil War, they'd have wiped our state out. They'd have known exactly where everyone was. That's why they hid it in the floorboard of the house. Now in Louisiana, we are parishes. The rest of you all are counties where you live. So we were all of Ascension Parish and a little piece of St. James, totaling 300,000 acres. Today, we have 38 acres remaining out of 300,000 acres. Now, I told you this map doesn't look like this. This part of the coastline is gone. It is washed out into the Gulf of Mexico. These used to be lakes right here. Well, now they're just part of the Gulf of Mexico. A lot of this over here has gone out. Of course, where you live in Mandeville, all of that has widened. You've lost some of that because of Lake Pontchartrain on both sides. This river has widened over the years and changed course, and they put the levee there. So we've lost land here too. But some of these parishes are not even on here. Now, you wonder why we bury our family members above ground? because we are below sea level. You cannot dig down in there and dig in a 6-foot grave because you will strike water immediately. So that's why we bury our family members above ground.
And we don't have basements.
And we don't have basements like a lot of people do because you cannot dig down like that. We're going to step into my dining room. How about this beautiful chandelier? Late 1700 Irish crystal chandelier. Notice the spears going up when that candle's lit. Candlelight bounces off that spear, illuminating the room and making it look much more like it. The china, 1829 Old World Paris china. There were 600 pieces of it. Not a whole lot of the original pieces left, but if you ever dine with us, you'll be eating off the replicas of that beautiful china right there. Now these things here called fly catchers. Why here in the South we got to keep the windows open at all times? Flies, they want to come in and dine all over our food. Well, that's not very appetizing. So, we're going to put us a little sugar water down here. Fly comes up, falls down, and drowns. A Southern woman can't stand to see a fly drown. We crochet dollars and put over them. Or we may even put our napkins over them. Now, gentlemen, you are the drinkers. This is a champagne and wine dispenser, all right? The bottle stands straight up. Alcohol goes through the holes. Glass here, release that button. Alcohol flows through the glass. The reason this was used, because you didn't filter the alcohol. You didn't want to put all that muck and debris in your glass, and that'd be the reason for your champagne and wine dispenser. Now, suppose you didn't finish all that alcohol. Certainly did not want to waste. Remove the cork, put it in the late 1700s press it down real tight, squeezes up the bottom part of that cork, pop it back in. That way, you have no waste. When we get finished eating, us ladies who went to the ladies' parlor. Gentlemen, y'all went to the gentleman's side of the house, but I am a fine Southern woman. I shall invite you all into the parlor with us ladies. Let's go. Anybody play the piano? Do you play the piano? Would you like to play the piano? I love that question. Oh yes, I play the piano. Would you like to play the piano?
I have played.
With this beautiful piano, 1901 baby. While the gentleman hadn't been across the hall up to no good, of course. Now, General Wade Hampton is the one that built this house. He lived in it a bit. He passed away. He left it to his son, Wade Hampton Jr., his daughter, Miss Caroline Hampton Preston, and her husband, John Smith Preston. If you look across the wall over there on that side, that is their wedding portraits. Now, General Wade Hampton is the one that built this house. He lived in it a bit, and he passed away. He left it to his son, Wade Hampton Jr., his daughter, Caroline Hampton Preston, and they moved from Columbia, South Carolina, to take over the property. They had 6 children. Sadly, the little one, May, contracted yellow fever, passed away. Well, they were very distraught, so they packed up their belongings, and they went back to Columbia, South Carolina, selling their home to a gentleman named John Burnside, 1858, for $1 million. I did say $1 million. That was 300,000 acres. Red house back there, yellow house are in, and over 1,000 slaves. And of course, later on, those slaves were freed. Now, as we go through the house here, I'm going to be pointing out some of our original pieces. Not everything's original. Dark around the windows. Well, it is a gentleman's smoking room. In fact, in between the 2 chairs is the middle 1800s humidor. That's where the gentlemen would keep their fine cigars. Now, when LaSalle came to this area, he sketched out what the Houmas Indians looked like. He wrote down different things about them. Later on, his sketches were taken to Portugal, and they made this casting of the Houmas Indian lady. Well, she has feathers around her waist. That's pretty accurate. But the face, that didn't look like an Indian's face. That is very European. This is their perception of what they thought American women look like. I could do 1,000 sit-ups a day and never look like that. Above the fireplace is my favorite painting. It was done at the Sophie Newcomb College in New Orleans. They were well known for their paintings, but even more known for their beautiful pottery. So if you turn around and look at that Egyptian armoire, on the top shelf you'll see 2 green pieces of pottery and a blue piece. That is Newcomer pottery right there. On the second shelf, that's a gentleman's, Dr. Miles. That gentleman, he's the third owner of the home here. And they got the cutest little set of glasses. Do you know in 1840s everybody got the same glasses? If you were an adult, you'd slide that bar out. Child, slide that bar in. When you get ready to read, don't look down. They're going to slide right off your face. There were no earpieces in 1840s. On the bottom shelf, dueling pistols, that would be one of the finer sets. They made back in the mid-1800s. Now, does anybody, you see that one? That was a gas burning chandelier there, but it has been transferred into electricity now. And you see those at the top there? They actually have a spring on them, so they'll move every few seconds, all right, to look like candles there. Now, remember, going to the next is the gentleman's room also. Where you see the gentlemen, they had 2 rooms. Us ladies, we only got 1 room. But gentlemen, you were kind enough to let us come right on over here. Can we go to your billiard room also?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you very much. Lexi, did you know that about the bald eagle and the purple?
Yeah, but I didn't know that about the chandelier. I hadn't even looked at it.
That's interesting.
And I didn't know how the little flames were moving, so thank you for
This table right here is an 1885 billiard table. It only weighs about 40,000 pounds. You've got 3 slabs of slate right here. Take your hand like that and reach down in that pocket.
How many pounds of silver is this? 50, 60 pounds of silver?
$30,000 worth of silver.
Yeah, $30,000 or more.
And
So,
so you have ivory inlay. Now this gentleman here, this is John Burnside. Well, old John Burnside had some humbling beginnings, all right? This is the one that paid $1 million for the house here. Well, when he came to America at the age of 12 with $1.25 in his pocket. He was an orphan from Ireland. But when he died in 1891, he had $6 million, 14 homes and plantations, and a fleet of boats that went up and down the rivers, collecting people's crops. John Burnside, he did real well for himself when he came to America. Not to be confused with General Burnside, 2 different Burnsides. Ladies, we had games like croquet. I cannot imagine any woman going out and playing croquet in a dress like this. No thank you, I would have never. Why, even the boys had games called line darts or yard darts. These are quite illegal today. Little boys about 8 to 14 go in the yard and they drop in huge circles. They go to the 2nd and 3rd floor and sling them down. Now I'm imagining Mama going, boys, I know you up there throwing them yard darts again. You better come on down now. Your papa's coming home real soon. Lord, I do feel a slight spell passing me. I think I might need one of these medicine jars over here. Well, do you know back then you could buy opium, laudanum, heroin, morphine, arsenic, and hashish without a prescription? What were these people thinking? Well, obviously they weren't thinking real clear, all right? Just like you purchased Tylenol today. No prescription needed. About the lamest excuse I ever heard of a woman taking anything. Coughs it too tight. Really? Coughs it too tight. I would have slung that thing off that balcony and I'd have said, hey boys, Mother got you a new target, go for it. Put as many holes in it as you can. And don't tell Papa, I'm not putting it back on. But I do fear I'd have been in just a little bit of trouble back then. Do you know before 1910 you could buy anything on this table? After 1910 is when our laws in the United States started changing, all right? And you had to have a prescription after 1910. Now this painting right here is very interesting. It was done in 1863, there's the date, by a gentleman named Edmund Arnold. He was right up the river from here at the Battle of Port Hudson, painting this as the war was going on. We don't know how close he was, but we do know that he was close enough to capture what was going on in 1863. Now the paintings, the other paintings, are kind of a tribute to the way we lived our lives. Waterways were our highways. 1850s, this property was producing 20 million pounds of sugar, sugarcane, and molasses a year. You gotta get it to the port of New Orleans, right? You're not putting it on a horse and buggy. You can't get out of the swamplands, and you are not getting over Lake Pontchartrain. They would dock them ships out there, load them up, send them down that mighty Mississippi River. And music box, 1863. Music box from Geneva, Switzerland. Made from a company called Conscience, still in business today. The music box is broken. The spring has been broken in it. Last week it played for about 10 minutes. It's broke. Do we have spirits? Yes, we do. Over here, 1853, 1854 stereoscope. Look through that very bottom lens, gives you a great look. Anybody sensitive to spirits?
Oh my gosh.
Nobody sensitive to
What a great.
these walls in, and he opened them up just like this. For you see, he had to build walls in the house to put plumbing in the house. So behind that wall over there, he put some plumbing, and then he put a kitchen. Go ahead. Then he put a kitchen. Over here, we have an elevator. If anybody needs it for health reasons, you're more than welcome to use it. And bathrooms. Upstairs, he took to the bedrooms, and he made bathrooms and closets out of them. So you see, this is what he did to update the house to bring it to modern times. Now, I just told you that all these walls came forth in 1940. But the staircase, they started building it in 1811. So that means that wall does not support this staircase because that wall was not here. It was further back. This staircase, 100% freestanding spiral floating staircase. Come on over here. Get your camera ready. Stand here. Look straight up. You can see all the way up to the 3rd floor. It makes a beautiful shot with the camera. They did what they call molding the wood. They take the wood to the Mississippi River, soak it, gradually bend it. Soak it, gradually bend it. It took about 2 years to build it. It's built with wooden pegs, solid as a rock, and we are going to go up it. But if anybody needs an elevator, you are more than welcome to use it. This table, this is a liquor cabinet. Oh, John Burnside, this was his favorite hangout. He made the very first mendulum right here on this table, and he indulged himself quite often. His butler Pompey made him 3 every morning before breakfast. I wonder what he did for lunch and dinner. Probably sleep. He was drunk as an old skunk, all right? Over here, this is not a barbecue pit, gentlemen. This is a roast beef server. Well, in fact, this roast beef server weighs 132 pounds. It's pretty heavy. Roast beef here, vegetables here, plates for easy serving, sauces, gravies, boiling water. This will keep your food warm for about 4 hours. It is 1885, weighing in at 132 pounds sterling silver. How about that? Over here, we got a tea serving set. Well, ladies, we do like to have our afternoon teas. It is early 1900s. Down here, that's a turkey server. Well, it take about 2 people to bring this to the table by the time you put the turkey and you put the boiling water. Now, in a lot of our houses back then, we had 2 staircases. One for us ladies and one for the gentlemen. A woman was never to go up them stairs, show her ankles to any man, unless it was her husband, of course. In our house, we have 1 staircase. Proper young man would turn his back as the woman walked up the stairs, not to look at her ankles, or he went way before she decided to go up them stairs. If you went up them stairs, my darling, and your husband found out another man saw your ankles, why, sir, you're going to be in the yard the next morning with the dueling pistol shooting at the gentleman that looked at your wife's ankles. Ankles are very sacred, I tell you. Are you a single woman? Are you married? No, you're a single woman. Yeah. If you went up the stairs and a gentleman saw your ankles, this little horse race. Well, you see that gentleman over there looks like Jeffrey Dahmer versus the Addams Family kid. Now, he is not happy at all. That would be Duncan Kenner. And his family is the one that founded Kenner, Louisiana. If you came from New Orleans, then you passed through Kenner, Louisiana. But oh, Duncan, he's not happy there. Does anybody hunt? No. Hunting on what? Well, my darling, you'd have to hunt for food back then if you wanted to eat. Hunting closed here. Aren't you glad we have markets today? And boots here. Watch this. Late 1700 English hunting gun. Let's say you're out hunting, accidentally sprain your ankle. You gotta get back home, right? Just take the base off. It becomes a walking cane for you. Base back on it. Bullets in there. Gunpowder in there. Late 1700 English gun doesn't have a trigger right here, all right? That trigger will pop down from here. It is not a real accurate shot, but it is a vessel made back in late 1700s. It takes, by the time you pull this trigger, about 5 seconds for this gun to go off, all right? So you kind of need to figure out which way that rabbit's going to hop away at, all right? Or either go over there and conk that prey on the head. Now, they tell me, the gentleman, you know, if you hurt yourself, you might need you a little medicine, or if you sprain your ankle, well, you got yourself a flask right there. There you go. You're going to fill this full of whiskey. My take on this is, you better drink this before you shoot this. Because if you got a misfire, you are not coming home from the hunt. I do call this a 2-shot gun. You got a shot here and a shot here. How about that? Now, you tell me you were from Philadelphia?
No, Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, okay. I only know of one other gun like this, and it was from a gentleman in Philadelphia, all right? And it was his great-great-grandfather's, and his cousin actually inherited it, all right? I told him, I said, you might want to try to get that gun back. But that is the only other one that I know of. The barrel right here is extremely thin, so don't believe a whole lot of them probably survived too well. They probably blew up. Now this gun right here would have been used around the Civil War time. It is a very, very heavy gun. Was it used in the Civil War? We have no way of knowing because we cannot find any kind of markings on this gun at all. But it was made around that time. Y'all look at the round piece over there. That's called the lazy Susan. It'd be sat in the center of the room. You could walk around it or you could spin it around. Each one of those pieces spins individually. Now the room we're going to next is the Betty Davis room. 1963, she filmed that famous movie, Hush Hush, Sweet Charlotte, right here in this house. There wasn't a whole lot of hotels, so she stayed in the house here. That's why we call the next room the Betty Davis room. So we're going to go in there and check it out. Y'all just come on with me. Watch your step as you go over the threshold. Hush, hush, sweet Charlotte.
Sing it.
Can you open that door for me, please? I just want to. Thank you so much.
And your light, there's
You're good.
not a good light that you get.
If you look
Thank
to
you.
the right, Betty Davis has braids for it. So her has the white.
Yours is
That-
better.
The original cast of Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. They didn't like each other, but they agreed to do this movie. In the movie, there was a fight scene. Oh, these women started fighting. Directors over to the side screaming, cut, cut, cut. Nope, they didn't cut. Do you know it took 4 police officers to separate them? Betty Davis said, I refuse to be in the movie with her. Joan Crawford said, good, I'm going back to Hollywood. That's when Olivia de Havilland, the one standing up, took Joan Crawford, the one in the black's place, and she won an Academy Award. So we're going to go into here and see the baby things. We do have some quite beautiful baby pieces in here. I do like the baby pieces. We have our little walker, our little rocker. Of course, was different metal deerskin. They don't have much of anything left. And a little cradle over there. And the high chair we have in here, this is not just a high chair. Watch this. Baby stroller. When you get finished strolling that baby, you might want to bring it back and give it a little snack, right? So all you need to do is just pick it back up. And you got your high chair once again. How about that? Now, how do you think they kept them babies in there? They tied them in. Today, that's child abuse. Back then, it was a very common thing to do. Mosquito net, very vital to our health. Here in spring and summertime, it's stifling hot. We had to keep the windows open at all times. We didn't have screens. We still, to this day, do not have screens. You must sleep with that netting to protect you. Look at that jacket on the wall. That is an average size of a woman. Look at the waistline. Look at the neckline. We was wearing our corsets so tight. It's breaking ribs. It's damaging organs. Passing out. Put you on a fainting bed. Cut the corset off. You start feeling better. And they corset you right back up. And the average weight of a woman, 85 pounds, to 105 pounds. Very tiny and very petite. The wealthy women